Happy Wednesday, everyone. How are you doing on this sunshine Wednesday evening? I am really loving the weather today. It was a bit chilly for me here in Michigan yesterday, so I am enjoying the sunshine. And I'm just thanking you for taking a moment to tune in this evening and watching us live, or perhaps you're watching us on the replay. We love the support either way. Welcome to Get to Know Bob, this amazing platform where I'm your host, Miss Sonia M. Weaver, and we get to have conversations with some amazing Bobs. Those people that are doing phenomenal things in their businesses, with their nonprofits, using their God-given artistic talents such as authors and musicians. We just love, love, love the love we've been getting week after week in the conversations to connect you to some phenomenal people. We have had a ball and we will continue to do so with your support. So make sure, if you haven't done so, go ahead and subscribe to this channel and make sure you share it with other people. Encourage them to subscribe as well. Why do I always ask you to do that? Because the more subscribers we get, the further reach we will have. And of course, the further reach we have, then the more people have awareness. Therefore, the more support we get. Now, see how that works? We're all in this together. I need you so that we can support the amazing businesses that come on week after week. Getting into tonight's conversation, I'm excited, but let me tell y'all, I've been trying to play with this hair, and people be telling me that they love mine, but I want it to be like really high when I do this kind of look, because I'm getting ready for my Juneteenth. Check it out. Love my Juneteenth. Support to Divine Diva Designs for the amazing Juneteenth shirt. And I decided to do a African wrap, but my hair just will not spike up high. If you know how to make it do that, I mean, I'm not cutting my hair to get that look, just so you know. But if you know how to get these braids to be up, high, I would love for you to leave that in the comments for me. And then I can really rock my ethnic look that I love to have, because I am such a proud Black woman, and I love the Black hair that I have been given. Thank you very much. Now, so that's enough for tonight's look. The lips are popping by Blaze from the Glam Doctor. I have loved this matte red for forever. I just got to replenish not too long ago, and so I just love how I rock my red. Now, you guys, this is going into the challenge. For those of you who do not know, our passion is to support Bob, right? That is our ask. So we kick it off with Black Friday, where every Friday is Black Friday, and every Friday is an opportunity to support Bob. So let me tell you, on this past Black Friday, I was not even looking for it, but lo and behold, I found it. What did I find? I find an amazing Bob, of all places, at Laura Park Mall. You see that? Bella Do Boutique, located in Laura Park Mall in Livonia, Michigan. Now, those of you who are not familiar with Michigan the way I am, I wouldn't think I would find too many Bobs in Livonia. I'm just being real, okay? So it was not even on my radar when we went in. My daughter had never been to the mall before. Can you believe that? And so I decided to take her in to let her see it. And lo and behold, the first place we came to was a Bella Do Boutique. Now, those of you who caught me on the live stream, then you can see that this was an amazing find. And we're having a little technical difficulty, looks like. So the video is very slow in uploading. That means it's going to do this fast, like, movement. So you can't really see it. But if it doesn't play correctly, go on over to my Facebook page and you'll see the live video. But I took you guys on a tour of this boutique. And I am looking forward to the conversation that I am going to have with the owner, Miss Jackie. the boutique was amazing. And yes, I will be I purchased, obviously, it was Black Friday. I will be posting pictures of my purchase. And I'm looking forward to wearing it this weekend and jazzing it up so you guys can see it, how it was when I tried it on. And then I'm going to show you how you can dress it up and or dress it down. So I'm really excited about that find that we supported in Livonia, Michigan. And then on today, yes, today, because we talked about the 7 Bob pledge. Remember the 7 Bob pledge where you support 7 Bobs a week? That means with your time and your talent or with your coins. And so I had a phenomenal meeting with a Bob, and I decided why not, support a Bob and have our meeting at the location. So here in our geography, you have none other than Crafted Beanery, right? And their boutique. So Crafted Beanery is a place, you see that delectable sweet treat in the middle. I do not go to Tim Hortons. I do not go to Starbucks. I go right over to Crafted and I get all of my coffee needs whenever I feel like I want a treat. Okay. And then here's that lounge area where we met. So it felt like we was right at home, chilling on the couch, supporting Bob. And before we left, we headed right over into their boutique side where you can get all Michigan made products. So if you're looking for a unique gift, especially if you're a procrastinator like me from time to time, and you need to run in and get something very unique and very eclectic, you will want to go right over to Crafted, located in Belleville, Michigan. Now, here's what I didn't know. They have an awesome new location that is called Abode in Belleville. And they have some high class okay, so well priced though, let me tell you, high class but well priced items for your home. So Crafted gives you those eclectic kind of things, and then Abode would give you those high class things to add to your home. Both places are phenomenal, and the couple are amazing. The husband and wife are literally amazing. And while I was there, of course, I had a conversation with the phenomenal Yolanda Wynn of My Sisters and Me, and we talked about her new branding for My Sisters and Me, where it's going to be now the Braid Gallery, where she's going to incorporate the artistic side of braiding, because braiding alone is a very artistic in and of itself, but she's going to have braid artwork throughout the facility that's also available for sale. Can you get excited? So guys, I'm going to be talking about that upcoming red ribbon ceremony. So you want to make sure you mark your calendar so we support her. And before I left the Belleville area, I had to pick up my prescriptions, as you know, from my phenomenal pharmacist that is a Bob, Miss Judy. Shout out to my pharmacist at Milton's Pharmacy, located in Belleville, Michigan, on Belleville Road. So if you are in the area, I encourage you to switch from the big boxes because the pricing that she offers is very comparable, if not less. And why not support a Bob? Look at that quaint pharmacy. It is amazing, and June is phenomenal. So yes, my Wednesday has been, I just can't say it, nothing less than phenomenal. Supporting Bob makes me feel so great. That's why I encourage you guys to do it all the time. So now, as we go into our deal of the day, I am so excited with the free gift. Yes, I am continuing it to be a Juneteenth t-shirts from Divine Diva Designs. Now, it's too late for you to get this one because you had to participate in last week's to have me enough time to have it shipped to me. So if I didn't get that winner, which I didn't, I'm kind of bummed. I said I still want to give a free shirt. So I have some on hand, and it's either going to be the Juneteenth Celebrate Freedom one. Here you go. Or it will be Happy Juneteenth. Now, how do you get your free shirt? I'm glad you asked. And I hope you participate because Juneteenth is around the corner. So, what you will need to do are the 3 easy steps. If you haven't already done so, you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Then you want to like and follow us on our social media platforms. We're on Facebook and Instagram. And then you want to share and tag us. What does that mean? You're going to share 5 previous Get to Know Bob episodes on your social media platform, and you're going to tag us. Send your pics and information to info@dealswithbob.com. The first person to complete the steps will receive that free gift. I really, really hope that you take advantage of it because Juneteenth is around the corner and you will want to represent. I mean, I get so tired of y'all out there wearing y'all leprechaun shirts and y'all Cinco de Mayo shirts, and you're not really, supporting our heritage. So come on, guys, make sure you participate and get that free shirt. Our featured nonprofit for this month is Our Own Wall Street. Yes, Our Own Wall Street is a nonprofit organization with an ecosystem designed to address the needs of the underserved communities by sharing resources and teaching soft skills facilitated by professionals and business owners. They have 3 main service areas: civic engagement, health and wellness, and professional and personal development. These services are provided through educational workshops and events. Now, here's what's special. Once the underserved member or members are sustained, they agree to serve with Our Own Wall Street to increase our outreach and assist other communities in becoming sustained. Now that is amazing. Our Own Wall Street is going to support you and your needs. And then their ask at the end is that you volunteer to support someone else. That is just awesome. Now, going into our featured business for the night show is Tranquility Christian Counseling. Let's take a moment to see what they do. Tranquility Christian Counseling is a health and wellness service where they offer holistic approach to counseling to meet your needs. You can visit more information about them by going to www.dealswithbob.com and finding them listed on our international owned directory. Oh, we love Tranquility Christian Counseling. And as we go into our Stay Connected segment, they have upcoming events. So make sure you get ready to mark your calendar and support their efforts. We're moving into our deals for consumer members, and we're going to kick it off today with Today's Smile, offering 50% off whitening. Phlebotomy Express Training Centers offering 10% off their courses. The Amazing Woman Network offering 20% off AWN merchandise or 20% off their financial services. Affordable Veterinary Clinic offering free well exams to new clients with the purchase of vaccines. And Bright Tech Communications offering 10% off. And if you are a business owner and you want to offer deals, discounts, giveaways, and rewards to our consumer members, just visit www.dealswithbob.com and join today. Consumer members, you will also go to www.dealswithbob.com, click on your consumer membership, join and get your annual membership, and you will receive all these deals, discounts, giveaways, and rewards. Now grab your pen and grab your paper It is that time where we're going to stay connected with the amazing events coming in and around our communities. Thank you all for your submissions to your events. I love, love, love sharing them with our viewers. If you have not already done so, I need you to go over to last week's episode on YouTube, where we had an amazing conversation with Mona Lisa. And she talked about the phenomenal trips she is doing with the Mom and Dadpreneur Tour. Make sure you check that segment out and share it with others. Purse Purge with a Purpose. Proceeds going to a girl like me, Thursday, June 15th from 5 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. To donate, you're going to fill a gently used purse with toiletries, baby items, soap, etc., so that you can donate it at the event. Detroit Book City's Juneteenth Book Fair is Saturday, June 17th from 12:30 p.m. to 5 p.m., celebrating freedom through literacy. Our own Wall Street's Juneteenth Gala, a night of jazz with special guest Sky Covington and keynote speaker Tanya Hill. This is 7 p.m. to midnight on June 17th. And if you have not done so, you are out of luck because they are completely sold out. Money Friends LLC presents Celebrating Educators Through Southeast Michigan Juneteenth Skip Day Barbecue and Fish Fry, June 19th from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. Tranquility Christian Counseling invites you to Coffee and Conversation, Unity in Action, what you can do to make impact, Tuesday, June 20th from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Motor City Princess Ball is Sunday, June 25th from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. John E. Lawrence Summer Jazz Series will begin on June 30th and run through September 1st, every Friday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Only $5 for parking. Permission to Heal Day is happening at Wayne County Community College District's Northwest Campus on Saturday, July 8th from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Hello, Chicago. Mona Lisa's Lyrics is going to Chicago on July 15th and 16th. It is sponsored by yours truly to celebrate a dadpreneur and a mompreneur. Let's congratulate Crystal Gunn, recipient, yes, of the 2023 Presidential Lifetime Achievement Awards. This will happen on July 29th. The Access Identity Conference is Saturday, August the 5th. Make sure you register now. And let us support you and your event by adding it to our Stay Connected segment. Visit www.dealswithbob.com and contact us today. Well, I told you to get your pen and get your paper. There's a lot of amazing events coming on through our community, and you want to make sure you don't miss out on anything. Now, I need for you to get excited because we're about to enter into the conversation. Yes, I am so looking forward to it, where we're going to have on the amazing Dr. Portia Lockett. Welcome. How are you?
I am wonderful and so excited. I love your energy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. I'll be wondering if I'm like too over the top. Sometimes I bring it down, but most times I just go with the flow. I love, love, love just letting people know what our people are doing in our community. So that is why I'm so excited because, whoo, Miss Dr. Portia Lockett. Yeah, I don't know where you get your energy from, girl, because you are doing some amazing things. So before we get into it, here at Get to Know Bob, I pass the baton. One of the main things I believe is people connect to people, not just their product or service. So what I want you to do is self-introduce. Tell people who you are, a little bit fun stuff, what you do, and then why you do what you do.
Mm. Well, first of all, let me just say that I just love God's creations, and that includes you and anyone else that is tuned in today and those who will be tuned into the near future. I love to pour into people. I
Mm,
love to give hugs and give love. I wake up every morning and I
love it.
ask God to allow me to be a blessing to everyone that crosses my path. So it may be a conversation, it could be just a glance, it could be a hug, it could be a email, it could be a text, it could be a post, it could be just a person just passing, that they will feel the energy that I
Mhm,
try to portray and the energy of the love of God that is oozing out of me. That's what I
mhm,
love to do. However, I am a chaplain for one of the local hospitals here in the Detroit metropolitan area, a spiritual care advisor, and I just help people through their spiritual journey. I am the CEO and founder of the Lockett Foundation, which launched in September of 1992, just basically to celebrate my son, whose life was taken
mhm,
much too soon in December of 2020. And so God gave me this a vision, this assignment, and said, start the Lockett Foundation in order to help people heal, offer them hope, and hold their hearts as they're going through their journey. I also work
mhm,
with major corporations, going in from time to time, doing subject matters that consist of grieving in the workplace, transition in the workplace, how to become your very best, dealing with diversity issues, and so forth and so on. So there's a whole lot. So I know you got some questions you want to ask me, but you know I'm just evolving. I'm just continuously evolving into everything that God created me to be and everything that I desire to be.
I I love it. And I do questions, but I love conversation. So I love when people share their passion. All we
Yes,
want to do is make sure people connect to it, because it's really about us walking in our purpose, I feel. And when you
yes.
genuinely you can see your passion exude from you, you know that you're in that place. And I want everybody who's in a position to need this or to attend a workshop that you have, that they see that you're genuine about what you do and why you do what you do. I will take one moment to pause and say thank you all for joining. Those who are leaving comments in the chat, thank you so much. We have Ishmael, I see all for one here. Hello, thank you for joining. Mona Lisa, thank you for joining. And she is saying, oh, thank you for the advertisement. Of course, that's what we're here for, to support one another. Now, I did key up something since you mentioned into your introduction, your foundation, and then this particular event kicked off with Permission to Grieve
Yes.
Day. I attended this event. I mean, I'll be honest, I
Mm.
was not aware of it until a friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours, said you need to be there. And I'm so thankful that you allowed me to be there at the wee hour, because it was really probably 48 hours notice. I'm gonna tell you, from my perspective, this was amazing. But I just want you to share why it was important. Now, we heard through your introduction, you talked about the loss of your son, and you have my condolences. And I know you talked about walking in the shoes organization that so many people wouldn't want to walk in there. My business partner also lost her son tragically. So, I'm very intimate with how that can play a part in your everyday. How and why, well, more so why was it important for the Permission to Grieve Day happen in conjunction with you starting your foundation?
Well, the whole premise, as you can see, of the foundation is to help others heal, offer them hope, and hold their hearts. And so, a lot of times when we talk about grieving, a lot of times people want to put it in a box of the
Mhm,
loss of a person. But
mhm,
grieving can come from so many different layers and types and events that can contribute to one grieving. And so just being in tune, to God giving me an assignment, and he spoke this to me. He said, you're going to do permission to grieve. There's going to be 4 segments. Permission to grieve, because there's so many people that don't feel that they have permission to grieve, regardless of what type of grief that they may be going through. Sometimes people want to put it in a box and say, well, you've got 2 weeks. Specifically during COVID, we just didn't have the opportunity to grieve like we would normally grieve. And that can typically, when you lose a loved one, you have people that are coming over, calling you, dropping off meals, being there to support you, holding you, having celebrations of life. But during COVID, all that changed.
Right. It
And
did.
so because it changed, people were grieving because they couldn't get the support that they needed from that loss of that loved one. Let
Right.
alone during that period of COVID, we weren't able to interact. There was no social, there was no social life. Think about the
Right.
children who are not able to go to school for 3 years and then transitioning out of, let's just say, junior high school or middle school and going into high school, and then just not knowing how to behave because they missed out on that transitional piece.
Yes.
And then where a lot of us were going into work every single day, the 8 to 5, you're forced to work from home, or the small businesses that you were working with just vanished. So
Vanished.
you think
Right.
about all these different types of grief that we experience. So I thought it was just really important to be able to have a conversation and let people know that however it is that you're grieving, it's okay. How long you take to grieve, it's okay. Where you decide to grieve, it's okay.
It's
And just
okay.
so all those different components, it's just okay. And so we had individuals that were giving testimonies from losing loved ones specifically for this particular event. But then, having the conversation of the gradual grief. One young lady gave her testimony about, experiencing her mom, going through the space and that journey of dementia,
Right.
and not
Right.
having that mom the way she was familiar with having her. And then mom leaves permanently.
Right.
So that
Right.
emotional, that mental piece was slowly going away. And now you have this mom who you knew as mom was no
Mhm.
longer the mom you knew, and now gone permanently. We had
Right.
someone giving a testimony about, losing children, losing brothers and sisters. And
Yeah.
so, with that being said, it's like now that we have the permission to grieve, now how do we begin the healing journey? And everyone's
Yeah.
healing journey is going to look different. Just like when we go to the doctor, one doctor may give you a prescription A, somebody may give you a prescription B, so forth and so on. And so, depending on what your diagnosis is, but I just
Yeah.
want to encourage people that your prognosis is something positive, that you can move through this grieving journey, regardless of whether you're divorced. I often get give my testimony about all the different things that I've experienced where I grieved from
Mhm.
losing my son, from losing my mother, my father, losing my sister, going through a divorce, losing my home, going through bankruptcy, going through foreclosure, having my car repossessed, my business, folding because of the situation, with the economy in 2000 and 2008, being unemployed. So all those different components, losing friends, friends that they decided for whatever reason they don't want to different, components that contribute to someone that is grieving.
Yes.
Yeah, so
I
it's
completely understand that a lot of people do first associate it with the loss of a physical person. And
yes,
I'm glad you pointed out that it's really a loss, period.
yes.
And most recently, when I quote unquote lost my employment, I had started the grieving process
Mhm,
looking back before they actually let me go,
mhm,
because I was grieving the loss and how I was being treated, if that makes sense.
mhm,
I was really during COVID and I got very, very stressed. And it was just more and more was put on with the lack of appreciation for all of the work I did to make them be the company that they are today.
mhm,
And so I felt like they really didn't care. And because once I got to that point, I had to grieve that feeling of disconnection from my company. And lo
Mhm.
and behold, as it progressed a couple years later, it ultimately resulted in letting me go. And I found myself in a different place when it happened, simply because I was already preparing for the separation and going through the process of grieving that separation. And so
Mhm.
I'm very grateful that my mother, who happens to be a therapist, we did a grief series because of those same reasons, Dr. Portia, that you were talking about. So many people had lost loved ones and did not know how to channel that
Mhm.
emotions that were left behind, because we could not do the traditional things we have done that help ease through the process.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I definitely respect the work that you do, because it comes from a heart that cares in order to do that. Because I witness it firsthand all the time with my mother and her practice. And it's so important that we do go through the grief and mourning process to be
Mhm.
healthy.
Absolutely.
I happened to title this show Permission to Grieve because that was, your title. But then
Mhm.
I added, don't let anyone stop your healing.
Yes.
And that is because, like you said, you don't want people to say it's been too long, or, you shouldn't do that to grieve, or aren't you over that? Share from that perspective, if you would, some of the reasons how people can respond when people who are well meaning kind of say things or do things that don't kind of help.
Mhm.
What is it best for both sides? Because, of course, if you have a friend that's going through something, you want to do something supportive to help. But a lot of times we either say or we do something that's actually counterproductive. What would you suggest that those people on that other side looking to support kind of can do?
You know what? It's okay to ask. And sometimes people feel that they have to say something, but just being present,
Okay.
just showing up and saying, I am here for whatever it is that you need. I'm here to support you.
Mhm.
If there's an errand that I can run for you, if there's some grocery shopping that I can do for you, if I need to go get your oil changed, gas up your car, can I pick your children up from school? Can I take them to get some ice cream out to eat, or take them to play, just so that you can have a breathing moment?
Mhm.
No, I would always suggest this: put yourself in that person's place, because so often we say, let me know what you need, call me if you need something. Well, most of the time when you're in that space due to the loss of a loved one, you don't really know what you need, because you're just trying to process the
Mhm.
loss, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so if you can just put yourself in that person's place and say, what would I need? What do I think I would need?
Mhm.
Or if you experienced a loss, what did I need?
Mhm. Mhm.
And then do whatever it is. Maybe it is just, sowing a seed financially,
Mhm.
getting a group of people together and saying, this family could use XYZ. Let's do it. Let's be that support mechanism for that group.
Okay.
And then sometimes, people will come and they will say crazy things that don't make a whole lot of sense, that makes that griever feel even worse, like, you're
Yeah.
young, you can remarry,
Wow. Yeah.
you have other children. Okay.
Yes.
You can have another baby. You
Mhm.
can change careers.
Right.
With
I
all the money
heard I
that
heard when I lost my grandmother,
Mhm.
I mean, of course I have a level of intelligence. She was 105 years old.
Mhm.
Yes, I know she lived a long life. That's a fact.
Mhm.
But it doesn't negate the fact that I lost my grandmother,
Absolutely.
who has been a
Absolutely.
part of my life for as long as I can remember, and now she's not.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so it was like, okay, yeah, I get it. And we celebrated her life, but don't get
Mhm.
upset when something happens, or we're in our this is our year first,
Mhm.
first Mother's Day without her physically being here. Okay, it felt some type
Mhm.
of way.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't matter that 50 plus years she was in my life, but now she's not. Okay.
Mhm.
So
Right.
I get it, well-meaning things are said. And I think because like you said, we don't know what to say. But one
Mhm.
thing that Dr. Portia just said is don't feel like you have to say something.
Mhm. Mhm. And you can always say, so if you and I were having this conversation, I may say something to you, Sonia. Tell me about your grandmother.
Mm,
You know,
I love
what,
that.
what, what are some lessons that you can hold on to that your grandmother taught you?
Right,
Take me back
right.
to that kitchen. What were some meals that grandma taught you or grandma prepared that nobody else in the family could, but you've got that recipe, right?
Yes.
Tell me about those times when you would go over grandma's house and you all would just sit on the side of her bed and you all would have those girlfriend conversations. You would have a little sip, sip. So taking that person back down memory lane to replay those
Right.
wonderful memories.
And that's a perfect lead into what I want people to know, why in our linked ministry, and if you don't know, linked is where you get together and bead and bond for any occasion.
Mhm,
But we notice an influx of requests to do remembrance party.
mhm,
They come in for the specific reason of beating in honor of a loved one. And those events made us really feel so special to be a part of it, because
mhm,
people laughed, people cried, and they did just that. They
mhm.
shared stories about that
Yes.
loved one to
Mhm.
remember them. And in doing so, their life lives on. And
Yes.
a lot of times people found out things about a loved one that they did not know before, because we don't just sit around and share these stories and the
Mhm.
impact that is made. And really it got me thinking, because the amount of remembrance parties, like we need to actively remember our loved ones. I said it's amazing how so many children know about Malcolm X, know about Martin Luther King.
Mhm.
Why? Because we continue to talk about them.
Mhm.
My children don't know about my great grandmother or my great great grandmother. I don't know about my great great grandmother because we didn't talk about them.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
it's almost like they do die the moment we stop speaking about them and sharing about them. What
Yes.
do you offer about keeping a spirit and the essence of a person alive through talking?
Yeah. So let me just back up a little bit because because I have been placed in a hospital setting where I'm there at the end of life. A lot of times, a person may be in hospice or palliative care, and so one of the things that I do is I do something called the circle of love, and
Mhm.
everybody in the family that wants to be there, they're there, encircled around that individual as they're transitioning. And I encourage them to go around the circle one at a time and say, "Grandma, I love you. And this is what I'm going to hold close and dear to my heart. Remember
Mhm.
that time when." So we're doing all these remember when stories. Remember when, and remember that time we went to the zoo. Remember that time we were in church and your wig fell off. Remember that time, we were singing in the choir. So all these remember when stories, and sometimes that person is coherent and sometimes that person's not. But I noticed this, that if the person is not coherent, sometimes you see tears dripping down that person's face
Mm.
because hearing is said to be the last thing that leaves. So you
Wow.
have all these different stories, and I say this all the time, and it's part of an African a proverb that says, "As long as you continue to call out that person's name, and the blood runs through your veins,
Mhm.
that spirit remains." So it is up to us. We have to continue to tell the
I
stories,
love it. Yes.
the story
Yes.
over and over and over again. And I often tell people too, especially when you have grandmothers and grandfathers and aunties and uncles that live to be like 80, 90 years old and they're
Mhm.
still present with us. I
Mhm.
say, hey, we've got a wonderful mechanism for gathering information. Take out that phone, put it on memo, video, and say, hey, auntie, tell that story about. So you have all this, mama, tell the story about. So you've got all this information captured so that eventually you can put it all together in like your own individual family documentary so that we can listen to it over, because we're not going to be here forever, but we
Yes,
have something
that's
that
true.
our children can pass on and then add on to.
Yes, and I love that. One thing that was so precious is that my mother, during her master's, interviewed my grandmother,
Mm,
and to hear her voice,
Yes.
and the clarity in which she was speaking with. It was just amazing gift to have. So we're in the process of getting those converted into the disc drive so everybody can get a copy and have her voice of that whole interview. It's amazing. So, Dr. Portia, I have a couple things that I'm saying you're a busy little bee. I think I actually showed you this right here and congratulated you on. This was just passed in May 27th. Get your mind right summit where you were the mistress of ceremonies. So share a little bit about that event so we can keep our eyes out for these organizations and the work that they're doing.
Yes, so it was truly a blessing to be asked by Latanya Garth, who is the CEO and founder of Imagine Mentoring Program, and she did a partnership with a community organization in the Monroe area, and they brought in all these women from all over, and they came specifically to get their minds right. So they had an opportunity to pour in questions, in a little box, and they went around and, gathered the questions up. And you had the mental health experts, and they were sitting at the panelist table. And we just asked a lot of different questions, from dealing with, your sexuality, dealing with your physical well-being, dealing with, marriage and going through divorce and not having a great relationship with your parents, and what types of conversations should we have and we should not have with your children, age appropriate, and all the different things that we experience in terms of life changes, because, I always tell people, I don't know if I would be able to survive in the times that we have now as a teenager. My heart goes out to the young adults, this generation group that we have now that is so focused on living their lives through, social media.
Right,
And
right.
the period, and all of us going through this space of comparison. Let me see what Sign's doing. Let me see what Portia's doing, and trying to compare. And I just encourage people, just be yourself.
Yes.
Be
Thank you.
what
Yes.
that God created you to be. Just be all
Yes.
that. Be the best. People always say this thing, be the best version of yourself.
Mm.
Well, there's only one version, right? So it's up to you to be that. Someone else said,
Exactly.
don't try to be anybody else. That space is already taken, right? But if you just focus on being the best, you focus on you, stay in your lane, stay in tune to the spirit, to God, so that He is guiding your steps
Yes.
on the
Yes.
path that you're supposed to be in. The word says, if in all your ways you acknowledge me, I'll direct your path. So if we're in that connection, I can't be so connected to you that you're taking me off my path.
Exactly. I always
So
say
it
it
was just
goes
a
like
wonderful,
this before it can go like that. It has to go like
absolutely.
this before it can go like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
I'm always, I say, I'm
Absolutely.
always with me. So I have to be in love with me. I can't get away from me.
Absolutely. Yes. It was interesting because right before COVID, another sister friend and I, it was interesting because we were at the hospital visiting a dear, dear friend of ours. And she stopped me and she said, Portia, I feel like we're supposed to do something together. And I said, really? And she said, yeah, I don't know what it is. I just feel like this energy, like you and I are supposed to be locked in to do something together. And I'm like, okay. So, I said, well, I'm going to pray about it. And so before I could even get out of the door, God dropped it in my spirit to have this party. I love myself party. And we did it twice in 2019. Room full of women. I think the first event had 111 women. The second event had 162 women. But we talked about the importance of learning how to have self-love. So what does that
Mm,
look like? When you
yeah.
love yourself spiritually, what are you saying to yourself? What are you connecting? Are you meditating? Are you taking time to pray so that, you can get poured into? When you take
Mm,
care of yourself mentally, are you getting your checkup from the neck up? Going in and talking to your counselor or your therapist to work out some issues that we may have. We all have issues. And those of us who don't think we have an issue, that's the issue,
that's the
right?
issue.
That's the issue,
That's
right?
the issue. But knowing this half the battle, G.I. Joe told you that.
Come on now. Come on now. And then our emotions, sometimes our emotion, and as women, and sometimes even men go through that space of menopausal,
Mm, yeah.
moments when you don't really know what's going on because your emotions are all over the place. And then taking a look at our finances. When you love yourself, you're not trying to live beyond your means. You're not trying to catch up with the quote unquote Joneses.
Right,
Have
right.
your plan. What is your plan?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
Right,
we have
right.
spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, and financial. What does it mean to take care of your body? Are you going to the doctor to take? Are you exercising? Are you doing yoga? What are you doing to take care of you? Because if you don't take care of you, we all know it's very challenging and hard to take care of somebody else.
Right, exactly, exactly. Well, I'm going to take a little pen. Thank you, Shadora Ford, who's joined. She's saying yes to everything that you're saying. Thank you for joining. Make sure you share.
Yeah.
And if you haven't done so, I came across this and I'm excited because I haven't gotten the opportunity to do so. But we are going to be able to read about a commentary. Did somebody say grief from the Michigan Chronicle, where we have, and I believe in literacy. So this is great that we're actually speaking to Dr. Portia, but do take the time to read the article. She has a link on her page that will take you right to it. Share, share, share. What was this experience like? What was it like to be a part of the Michigan Chronicle?
It was phenomenal. You know what? It's interesting because it was something I've always wanted to do, but just never did. And
Mm,
then the opportunity presented itself where I was, having a conversation with someone from the Chronicle. And I said, I just feel like it's just that time. And they said,
mm,
okay, do a submission. We would love to be able to have you do that. And so it's everything is like in divine timing because two
love
years ago,
it.
my focus was helping people through grief, but not to this level.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
again, my husband, my son passed,
Mm-hmm.
um, there were so many different things that God was giving me an assignment to do. He said, I want you to write. I want you to start the foundation. I want you to put these four components together in terms of the permission. So we've got the permission to grieve. We got permission to heal. Then we're going to come back with permission to live and laugh because some people forget about, the laughter piece. They forget that they still have to live. And then we're
Mm-hmm.
going to come back again with permission to love because we forget to love
Mm-hmm.
ourselves because we're in that deep hole of
Mm-hmm.
depression and grief that it's time to come out and learn to love ourselves again, love the people around us again. And if you lost a significant other, such as a husband or a wife, or whoever it may be to you, it's okay to learn how to love again. Right. And so
Yeah.
then we moved on. After that, I became a grief recovery method specialist. So I specialize in helping people to grieve. And if you don't know, there's probably about 40 different ways that one can grieve. People
Yeah.
grieve from losing their pet. People, as we said before, losing your job, your position, your career, losing a limb, being diagnosed with a chronic illness.
Right.
Those are
Right.
all different levels. Think about it. When you don't pay your bills and you can't get your Netflix and you can't get your cable going, people start grieving, start freaking out because they're just so accustomed to being able to do that. I mean,
Exactly.
and let me tell you this. This is real key right here. Think about the sisters that couldn't go get their hair done or the nails done. Think about the grief that they were experiencing. I remember being in
Yes.
my bedroom and I'm soaking my nails off because I can't go get them done. And I went completely raw. I said, you know what? I'm not going with this. I'm going to eliminate everything that is not essential. So,
Mm,
3 years, well, 2.5 years ago, I had long locks. They were down in my back. And then I went into the big afro thing, and because I wasn't really quite sure what I wanted to do, so I eliminated that. I pulled off the lashes, what the eyebrows wasn't happening, took off the makeup. I mean, just everything. I was just like, look, I want God to
fall
see
in
me.
love with the
I don't
authentic you. You were loving the authentic you. I am not upset
yes,
at all.
yes. I had to
I am not
keep it
upset
real,
at all. And then people thought I was a little strange when I said this to some people because I was in a car accident
Mm,
and ends up then back to back double concussions that year. And when I had the first one, I didn't even notice anything to
mhm, mhm.
personally.
Yes.
But the second one, I didn't immediately notice, but slowly,
Mhm,
I was like, something is wrong. My edge is gone. I
mhm.
couldn't remember things the way I used
Oh,
to. I couldn't
yes.
sometimes put together my sentences the way I want to, or my my voice will be ahead of my thoughts, or
Yeah.
it was just, it's crazy when I experience these things. And now I recognize you lost your edge in that process, and it
Mhm.
frustrated me so much for so long, and I had to grieve my
Yeah.
former abilities.
Yes. Hmm.
And people was like, what do you mean you had to grieve? I said, they're gone. I
Hmm.
couldn't continue to be frustrated about it. It's a new me. So I have all these books and notepads because I can't retain the information like I used to. And
Yes.
I had to adapt to this new me and
Hmm.
pretty much grieve and say goodbye to who I was,
Yeah.
And it got me thinking of the elderly,
Hmm.
and it gave me empathy,
Yes.
what it must be like as you age to not be able to do the things you used to do for the majority of your life, to not
Yes.
to remember things and the capabilities and all of this stuff. So really, I want people to understand the loss of anything will result in those same type of emotions, and you do have to be healthy in the healing of
Hmm.
going through that loss.
Hmm.
And that's why I'm so glad we're having this
Yes.
conversation.
Even speaking with I call them our seasoned seniors, you
Mm,
know, and you think about the fact that during COVID, a lot of them couldn't have visitors that
right.
were in assisted living spaces or nursing homes because no one was able to go anywhere. So that was now I'm in this space. I can't see anyone. You
Mhm.
know, my ability to be able to care for myself is limited,
Right.
right? And then just to transition a little bit, let's think about our brothers and sisters that live in the Louisiana area
Mm, mhm.
and
Mhm.
how they must be grieving because it seems like the hurricanes, the weather conditions just keep coming back to back to back.
Right. Right.
I can only imagine. It's like every time you turn on the news, there's something traumatic that's
Mhm.
happening. And so I was talking with a young lady the other day, and she says, I've been diagnosed with PTSD."
Mm.
And so we start talking about what it was that she was experiencing. And so sometimes we grieve because of things that took place in our childhood that were never even dealt with, let alone what's going on in our lives right
Yes.
now. But there
Makes
was some unfinished business, and now I'm grieving about it.
yes.
Now I
Yes.
talk about it,
Yes.
you know?
Leads into the segment of heals. So we're
Yeah.
talking about the permission to grieve, but what you have next
Yes.
is the permission to heal day.
Yes.
Share
Yes.
about that was coming up, and those mark your calendar for July 8th.
Yes, and make sure you go to Eventbrite to register and just push in permission to heal in Detroit. But I'm really excited about this because a lot of times people say, "Okay, we were grieving. Now, how do I begin the healing journey?" And
Mhm.
because we're all different, everyone is going to heal a little bit uniquely, right?
Right.
So for this upcoming session, we've got a brother that's going to give his testimony about going through a divorce and how he healed. We have another brother that's going to talk about a chronic illness that he was diagnosed with, what he did to be able to maneuver, on that journey. We're going to have someone talking about, getting married late in life only to lose their husband. Someone else is going
Mm.
to talk about losing their child that was due to gun violence. So you have all these different components, and then on top of that, we're going to have someone, Dr. Carla Mitchell. She's going to come in and do some
Oh, yeah.
exercises with us. I just
Yeah.
love her and dealing with that mind,
Mhm.
that mindset, that mind shift. So
Yes.
everybody there,
Mhm.
we're going to give you tools. We're going to give you resources. We're going to have vendors that are going to be there. And I'm excited about, Dr. Rose Moten, who is a clinical psychologist. She's
Yes.
going to be
Yes.
talking about the sound healing. And a lot of people are saying, "With the sound, what? The sound healing." She
Mhm.
has this place called the Bloom Transformation Center, right off the river. And so you can go there and these different sounds. And then Dr. Sabrina Black, she's going to be there
Mm.
giving great input. And then we're going to have Dr. Eddie Connor. He has written several books.
Yes. He was on a couple of weeks ago.
When I tell you it's going to be on and popping, we've got Monica Morgan, who is the
Yes,
photojournalist, who will be a part of
yes,
this whole set. And so I'm just elated that whenever I ask someone, they just say yes. They're just
yes,
open to share. This is part of the healing. When you're able to share and bless others and share your stories to remind others that you are not alone. You don't have to go down this
exactly.
path. We got some folks there that are going to take you and hold your hands, help you heal, and hold your heart. And we're going to go through this together.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And the names, oh yes, it's going to be phenomenal just for the people she named. And you guys know Dr. Eddie Connor was on a couple weeks ago. So you gotta love it. Love these amazing people and the opportunity to heal.
Mhm.
Shadora, thank
Mhm.
you for your comment. She said, I give myself permission to heal. Thank you, Sandy,
Yes.
for joining. Yes, she said, great
Yes. Please
conversation.
come.
Thank you. And that
Yes.
lineup is fantastic. It is. It is fantastic. So as we are like 3 minutes out, we're going to go a little bit over, guys. So bear with me. I'm typically a stickler for the time, but there's a couple things I always have to get in. First and
Mhm.
foremost, before we get to tea time, because I found a little tea that I want to spill, okay? But what keeps you encouraged? We have to know with all of the fabulous things you're doing and the type
Mhm.
of work, what keeps you encouraged?
What keeps me encouraged is when people call me back or I run into people just randomly and they say, "Do you remember when?" And I'm like, "No,
Mm,
remember what?" And they
mm,
tell me how I touched their lives,
mm,
how I made an impact on their lives, how I was there when their loved one was transitioning or they gave birth to a stillborn child, or when I was there. One lady walked up to me not too long ago and she said, "You don't remember me." She said, "But I remember you." She said, "We were
mm,
at the gas station and I realized I had left my wallet at home and I didn't have any money with me and I was on E." And she said, "You filled up my gas tank." I said, "I did?" She said, "Yeah." And then
mm.
she went and told somebody else, and they said, "Oh, I know who that was." And I'm like I do that all the time, like no, 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 no. But it was just like I just felt led. I just saw this
Mhm,
person that was standing there, like, oh my God, and that's what I was just led to do. So when I'm able to touch someone else's life, make an impact, uh,
mhm,
help
mhm.
them on their healing journey, that's helping me heal because
Yeah.
I'm broken. We're all been bruised at some point. Sometimes we even find ourselves bitter. But when
Mhm.
when I'm able to help someone else, that's when I'm
Because
winning.
it lines up exactly for me
Mhm.
as you were talking. What did I hear as you were talking? When I was hungry, you fed me.
Yes.
When I was naked, you clothed me.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
we miss that so many times
Mhm.
in just the small things.
Yes.
And
Yes.
to hear you say that is kind of inspiring to me because that's how I am every day. I pray to be led, but then I also pray to make impact. So when
Yes.
I say I intentionally support Bob, it's me intentionally sowing into the efforts of someone's
Yes.
purpose. But then
Yes.
it's also those other little things that might come my way, like you said.
Mhm.
Even holding the door, I was holding the door for an elderly woman. I mean, not old,
Mhm.
but she was older than
Mhm.
I. And she said, "No, just let it go because I'm slow." I was like, "Well, where do I have to go? People are
Mhm.
in a rush to go nowhere, and I'm here to help you."
Yes.
And
Yes.
that made my day because she just felt like, "Oh my goodness, really?" And where did
Mhm.
we lose this in our society? So I really, really thank you for your love for others because that's what you really exuberate, your love for others.
Yes.
Now, here's the
Yes.
tea. Here, got some tea time. Now, I'm not stealing anything or saying anything you haven't already
Yes.
shared. Let me put
And
that out there. But people may not know. So coming soon, right? Do we have a delay? Are you able to see this? Is this still coming soon?
I you
It,
you know what? I don't know what it is because for whatever reason
oh, it's getting a
I
delay.
have a blank screen. So tell me what it is.
Oh, wow, it's getting a delay. Okay, so it says coming soon, the Grieving Journey podcast. Oh, we having some technical issues right at the end. Can you hear me? Oh, I think we have some technical issues at the end. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Now I can.
Can you hear me
You're not.
okay?
Yes, but you're just frozen on the
Okay.
screen. As long as I can
I
hear you.
listen. I'm gonna tell you a little secret. I forgot to pay my cable bill. No, just kidding. So yes, it is here. We are on our second episode of and I'm so excited about it. It is on now. So if you go on any streaming platform, you have an opportunity to listen.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm loving it. Now I'm hoping I can get my last two questions in without technical difficulty because it seemed like it's a little bit delay right now. Oh, so I always ask what book is currently on your nightstand or that you have recently read or would highly recommend reading?
Mhm. So there is a book, and I'm blanking out on the author, but it's The Body Keeps Score. That's one of my favorite books, right?
Okay.
I think that's what you asked me.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Now, as we
Okay.
end our
And then,
show today,
oh, did you hear me? Okay.
oh, I'm sorry. It's a delay now. I heard the book. I think I cut you off though.
Mhm. No, that's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to make sure you share for tonight?
Well, I just encourage people. So absolutely. So, in my transition of helping people who are grieving, my whole focus has transitioned. So, if you go to drportialockett.com, you'll see several opportunities that talk about grief, different articles, different opportunities. If you want me to have an opportunity to come and speak to your organization or to support you individually in terms of one on one coaching, it's there. Also, I just released a deck of healing cards. It's a 52 card deck where it will guide you through your healing journey. And there's a journal that goes along with it. And sometimes people just say, I'm just stuck. I have no idea of what to do. By taking one of these cards, and one card could simply say, it's time to reconnect. So call 5 people back that somebody that has reached out to you. Return 5 emails, return 5 text messages. Another card may simply say, it's time to handle your finances. So go to that bank, close out those bank accounts, call your creditors, go to that safe deposit box, handle all of your finances or your legal matters. Or
I love
one card
that.
may simply say, celebrate the person that you love and get out your karaoke box and only play the music that loved one loved and dance to it. Eat
Wow, I
the
love
chicken, dip some
that.
it's something different. And I'm telling you, this is a game changer. It's a life changer. Everybody who has purchased it thus far is just like, I've never seen anything like this before. And so I created this, being in tune to the source.
Uh-huh.
Uh, that was one of my assignments,
I love it.
and
I
that's on Dr.
love that. And that's just so original. I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Looking at some of the things, Shadora, thank you. She said, "So dope!" Exclamation point. And Ishmael, great conversation between these young ladies. Thank you, Ishmael. Thank you for joining. Make sure you share and share and share. It has been an absolutely phenomenal conversation for me as well. Definitely will have you back, Miss Dr. Portia, because I just can't wait to see and talk to you after we get towards the end of the year with all of your phenomenal permission workshops that you are going to be bringing to us. Thank you so much. Now, guys, mark your calendars because we're ending this month on a bang. We will be speaking with the phenomenal Charles McKay on next Wednesday, the 21st, and then closing out the month of June on the 28th with Miss Shanita Gary of Our Own Wall Street. So make sure you mark your calendars and be prepared to tune into those conversations. If you have not already done so, while you're here, take a moment to hit that red subscribe button. Make sure you share this with others and encourage them to do the same. Go to our YouTube channel, Deals with Bob, and subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. As always, I thank you again for tuning in. I thank you again, Dr. Portia Lockett. Thank you guys for all of your encouraging comments throughout the segment. I truly appreciate you. As always, I encourage you to spend with purpose because your dollar does matter, and deal with Bob. Have an amazing night. I'll see you next week. Bye.